Welcome to my YouTube channel, Mirror of Death. The clock struck midnight when Sarah arrived at the abandoned Ravenswood Mansion. The old estate loomed against the night sky like a carcass, its windows shattered, its walls crawling with ivy, and the wind howling through the broken chimneys like the cries of the dead. Sarah was a journalist chasing a story, a legend about a mirror in the mansion's east wing. Locals claimed that whoever looked into it after midnight saw their own death reflected back. She didn't believe in ghost stories, not yet. Her flashlight's beam cut through the thick dust as she stepped inside. The air was heavy, stale, as if the house itself had been holding its breath for decades. The wooden floor groaned beneath her boots. "Hello?" she called, her voice trembling. It echoed through the vast, dark halls. A faint sound answered, a whisper. She froze. "Who's there?" No reply, only the faint creak of a door somewhere deeper inside. The corridor stretched endlessly, lined with portraits whose eyes seemed to follow her every step. The walls were covered in dark stains, something between mold and dried blood. Her flashlight flickered, and for a brief second, she thought she saw movement in one of the paintings. A face smiling back at her. She blinked. It was gone. "Get it together, Sarah," she muttered, forcing herself onward. Finally, she reached the mirror room. The door was half open, its hinges shrieking as she pushed through. Inside, the air was colder. So cold her breath came out in mist. There it stood, a tall, ornate mirror draped in a torn gray cloth. Her hands shook as she pulled the cloth away. The glass was flawless, too clean for a house left untouched for decades. Her reflection looked pale and distant. Behind her, the empty room stretched into shadow. But then, her reflection moved. Sarah's breath hitched. Her reflection smiled. She didn't. What the hell? The reflected version of herself tilted her head slowly, eyes dark and empty. Then, without warning, the reflection stepped forward. Sarah stumbled back. Her flashlight dropped, rolling across the floor. The room plunged into half-darkness, the beam trembling against the walls. Her reflection was gone. A whisper slithered through the silence. "You came back." The voice was hers, but layered, distorted, echoing from inside the walls. She turned toward the door. It had vanished. The wallpaper seemed to pulse like skin. She ran to where the exit should have been and slammed her fists against the wall. The mirror behind her began to ripple, as if it were made of water. From within, pale hands emerged, long, bony fingers clawing the air. "No!" she screamed, backing away. The hands grabbed her shoulders, pulling her toward the glass. Her reflection stared at her, smiling wider now. Eyes black voids, teeth too many, too sharp. In one last scream, Sarah was yanked into the mirror. The room fell silent. The mirror's surface stilled. Then a new reflection appeared. Sarah, standing perfectly calm, smiling softly. She picked up the fallen flashlight and whispered, "Finally free." She turned and walked out of the room. Behind the glass, the real Sarah pounded and screamed, unheard, her hands pressed against the inside of the mirror as her breath fogged the cold surface. Outside, thunder rolled. The mansion sighed as if satisfied. Another soul claimed by the mirror room. And in the brief flash of lightning, the reflection smiled again. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel.